Not knowing what makes your brand unique can be the downfall of your brand. So many people out there are just blending in and blending in and blending in, and they're becoming more of the same. If you're not standing out, you're not getting called. So I'm going to show you how to discover what makes you unique, what makes you different from everybody else. I'm going to give you a couple of methods for doing this on your own. And in fact, I did this on myself when I discovered my first brand was actually a complete failure. I put myself through my process and I came up with a new brand, which is what you see here, and it's been blowing up ever since. Hey everybody, I'm Rob Genovese from Unleash My Beast brand, where I teach you how to be a brander and build a brand. I want to thank everybody in the community for being a part of what we're achieving. And if you're not yet a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss a single video. New videos are coming out every Tuesday and Friday. One of the biggest problems I see with most business owners, they don't actually know what makes them unique. By the time they come to me, they're kind of puzzled. They think they know what it is, but they're not quite sure. So I think they make things up. I hear things like, what makes me different is I put relationships first. You know, my clients and the relationships that they have with me, well, it's relationships before business with me. I hear things like, we've been in business for 30 years, or customer satisfaction is at the pinnacle of everything we do. Now, these are great things to have in your business, but the problem is they're not different. These are basic things that every business should have. That's not a point of differentiation. That's just good business. What you really want to do is discover exactly what makes you different. What's that point of differentiation that truly makes you different? That makes you stick in people's minds so that when they make a decision to buy, you're the second thought in their mind. It should be like a reflex. So I want to give you a couple of things that I do with my clients that helps them find that point of differentiation, what really makes them unique. And you could ask yourself a couple of questions. Now, when I do a breakthrough session with my clients, it's 2 hours. It's intense, man. It is Q&A. It is conversation. I am digging deep to get to the heart of what their brand is at their core, what really makes them different. Now, I don't have 2 hours with you today, but I'm going to give you a few questions you can ask yourself that will start to get you thinking and leading you up to that thing that makes you different. Here's the first question I want you to ask yourself. When you think about you in your industry versus the guy across the street who does what you do, I want you to ask yourself, what do you do that's different than him? What about your process makes it unique to you? You know, everybody should have their own process. I mean, you've really got to know what you're doing so that people don't look to you and think, hey, this person's a genius. That's really not a label you want, because that's a lot of pressure and nobody's really a genius at what they do. Now, what I do in my business is I tell people, hey, I'm no genius, but I got a genius process. Something that's solid that you can count on, that is a repeatable method of success. Now, what do you do in that process that makes you different? You can stand on that, and that is a point of differentiation. Here's another great question to ask yourself. What is it you loathe about your industry? Look, every industry has people who do things that are just whacked, and you would look at them and say, if I was in business, I would never do that. In fact, it's probably something you said early on when you first started thinking about your business. You wanted to look at it and say, okay, I want to run my business like this, but I certainly don't want to do what they do because I don't like that, or people don't like that, or that's not how I would run my business. Well, that's something you can look at that says, okay, I stand on these principles, not those. I'm going to do things a little different. You can even look at what the customers in that industry hate about that industry. You know, if you're in the contracting industry, or if you've ever hired a contractor, you know if you want to be different as a contractor, there's only one thing you really have to do to separate yourself from all the contractors. What is that? Show up on time. Sometimes just show up. I mean, it's a stigma, but they are notorious for not holding true to their appointments. And so if you want to separate yourself and you're a contractor, look, All you got to do is set the appointment and show up on time. Why? Because that's what people hate about that industry. Customers who are looking to hire a contractor, they know, I hope this guy shows up. So that's an easy one. But when you look at your industry, listen to your customers. Listen to what ticks them off about your industry. And then don't be that. The next thing you can do is look at your brand personality. Now, we're very tempted if we're solopreneurs to say, well, my brand is me. My company is me. I'm the one who is at the forefront, client facing. So you might be tempted to think, well, I'm just going to be me. But here's the problem with that. It largely doesn't happen because we think in our minds, hey, if I'm going to do business, my clients expect me to behave a certain way. So right there is a tip-off. You're already modifying your behavior. You're modifying your personality to suit some expectation that you think clients have of you. But look, we're in a time where people can really be themselves. Never has there been a time where if you run a business, you can be completely 100% authentic and still be able to relate to a lot of people. Now, one of the tools that I use when I'm sitting down with a client in that breakthrough session is a brand personality tool. And I want you to take a look at this. When you look at this sheet, you basically have a series of sliders here. On one side, you have a personality trait. On the other side, you have the extreme opposite of that trait. When you look at this, look at the slider in the middle, and I want you to slide it in the direction that you most want to be like in your brand. That's a part of you, but how you want to come across, because you have control over how you come across to your clients. Now, certainly some people are neutral right in the middle, but you're going to see a trend here. As you go down each of the sliders and you move it from the left to the right, back and forth, and you find the place on that meter, because they're numbered from 0 to 5 in either direction, you're going to see where you land for each of those traits. When you're done with all of these, I want you to look at it and look at it as a whole. There's going to be a common thread there. You're going to see how you come across. It's a way of objectively looking at yourself and who you are, and then consciously, intentionally amplifying that brand personality in everything you do. It's really a powerful tool for being to objectively look at ourselves. And don't worry, I'm going to pop a PDF of this brand personality sheet in the description below. And hey, if you're getting value out of this, I want you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button now, ring the bell, because I don't want you to miss a single video. Now take a look at Daily Achievers. This is my friend Teresa's business. She's a productivity coach, a business consultant of sorts. Now, there are tons of productivity coaches out there, but what makes her different? Well, if you've hired any kind of coach, look, it's kind of like going to the chiropractor. You've got to go week after week, month after month, year after year, and when does it end? 2000 and never. You've got to keep going back to keep getting the results. So what does my friend Teresa do that's different? She really helps you. She really helps you to a point that you don't need her anymore. In fact, her tagline is, I train you to leave me. Genius. In fact, that's her whole MO. She wants you to be so successful. She wants you to learn so well that you eventually don't need her anymore. Now that's a point of differentiation. Now the next thing you're going to need to learn is about this process. I mentioned it earlier, but the fact is, this is a whole teaching in and of itself. Having a process is critical to a business. Now, every business has a process, but you want to make sure you get it down. You need to learn more about having a branded process, and I want to give you a little bit more of that so you can check it out in this video here. And if you got some value out of this video, I want you to go ahead and give it a like, pop some comments and questions down below. I'd love to hear from you. If you want to learn more about being a brander and building a brand, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now, ring that bell so you don't miss a future video. I have videos coming out every Tuesday and Friday. And check out some of my other videos to gain valuable branding insights that are going to help you raise your brand this year. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.